Hello, everybody. My name is Joseph Rothschild, aka MBT, and that's right. Chat is on the screen. Boy, I'm sure that I won't regret this idea. I hope you all enjoyed that League of Legends core, courtesy of the non-copyright stream playlist. As you all know, Twitch.tv has rolled out new TOS, which makes it very difficult to play good music, so you will have to be satisfied, specifically with listening to this mimetic songs. Hi to everyone. Very happy that you have joined me on this beautiful Saturday morning. As we know, Saturdays are made for dads, cars, and the adjusted PPG list, which is what we are playing for today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Quarantine series. Now, folks, I won't front with you. It's not that this decision has not been made without sufficient community response. But I personally am elated at the possibility that every round won't go into time because no one is playing Eldritch. Unfortunately, that's not true. Some people brought Eldritch anyway. Ideally, they will get kicked out really early for, I don't know, racism. Are Eldritch pilots racist? Is that a stereotype or am I making that up? Anyway, let's go to this deck breakdown and I'll talk real quickly about all of the individual decks that are being played. Oops, looks like I have this on the wrong side given where the alerts are. And you know what, while we're here, let's move this over as well. You're getting a quick look under the hood here. Yeah, because no other deck made us go into time? What are you talking about? The only deck that I can think of that made people go into time was Altergeist. And Altergeist isn't playable, is it? Alright, so, to the deck breakdown in 3, 2, 1. Behold! This was made by Meep Moto's lovely wife. She is just fantastic and a whiz at Photoshop. Behold the 64 deck breakdown for this event. Unsurprisingly, Invoked Mech Knight, which is pretty well represented at every Quarantine series, just based on the makeup of the players who actually join, is the top deck at a whopping 8%. Talk about a solved format. Next is Salamangreat. The old standard returns with 4 individual pilots, and then a bunch of 3-ofs and a bunch of 2 and 1-ofs. That's it. Like, nothing is really being played at a 10% or higher rate. It reminds me of Modern, back when Modern was good. We've got Plunder Patrol representing at 3%. This is a deck that I really, really want to see on stream. We didn't get a chance to take a look at it last time, despite the fact that there were a couple of people playing it, because they kept losing to the people playing Plunder Patrol. This Quarantine series, I urge you, win your games. It's very important to do so. Unchained recently topped the Pro Play Games event, the very first under the adjusted list. 3 pilots. Would be surprised to see this not doing well. We had pretty much every Unchained player from the previous Yu-Gi-Oh! Quarantine series bubble, losing to Secret Slayer's meta on the last round of contention. After that, we've got Generator returning with 3 pilots as well. This deck is powerful. There are very competent players behind it. I'm talking about Dunkoro, of course. I hope that they can do what's necessary to beat decks like Invoked Mech Knight. Eldritch is represented with 3 individual pilots, but this does not tell the whole story, folks. These Eldritch decks are weird. One of them is on Invoked. Unsurprising, Invoked Eldritch is probably the way to play the deck going forward. One of them is on Zombies. Understandable. This was a defensible version of Eldritch. Baylor Drock is a hell of a card. And one of them is on
Zodiac.
I don't understand what Eldritch aims to do with Zodiac, but I hope that it's good. After that is Altergeist with 3 individuals playing that deck as well. Unsurprising. We just got 3 Multi-Faker. Who doesn't want to activate Multi-Faker effect and cause the tournament to be held up? And finally, Sky Striker represented at 3 as well. Loses a little bit of power with the Halka-Fibrax ban. Of course, it was extremely reliant on the Celine combo, but more than capable without it. And then other is 56% of the meta. These are decks represented at 2 and 1 copies apiece. A lot of cool stuff in here. I'm talking about Hero, Madolche, Orchist. I mean, there is a ton of really, really strong stuff lurking in this extra column. Unfortunately, there's also some really bad stuff. I had hoped to bring you a round 1 match that included Ritual Beast, because Lundredy, the winner of the 4th Yu-Gi-Oh! Quarantine series, had entered with said deck. Unfortunately, they had to drop last minute, and we will not get to see it, but we may get to see one of the other decks that had some cards unlimited on the latest ban list, and I am not talking about Altergeist, because if you think I'm starting this thing off with Altergeist, you are out of your mind. We've also got a Dragon Maid pilot, and good luck to them. I mean, I wish them the best. Inspired by CJ Alex, but probably will have the exact same results as that individual. That is a quick drop out of the tournament and a memeable replay VOD. So, that is going to be it for the deck breakdown. I will scoot on over to the Discord, let people know that round 1 is up. I will field a round 1 feature match for you, and ideally we will be up in less than 5 minutes. So let me know what you want to see out of any of those decks. Any decks that you want to see if they're represented at all in that other category, if you want me to field them out. Remember, the worse the deck is, the more likely I am going to pick it early. So if you want to see garbage on your screen, now is the time to put those requests in. I will see you momentarily, and peace. Hello! How is everybody? Doing well? I know I am, and I'm excited to bring you the first round of the 6th Yu-Gi-Oh! Quarantine series. Now, we've got a fantastic match for you for round 1. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of miscommunication about who is who and who had dropped and who had not. Hence the slightly longer break than I'd anticipated, but don't worry, I will make it up to you with this match. We are going to be watching Half Miss, a connoisseur of jank, a diehard fan of Spellbook and Endymion, and sure that that's the only playable version of the deck. Playing Ritual Good Stuff. This is the best Necros build pre-Unicorn on hit, and I would wager it is probably the best one post-Unicorn on hit as well. Playing against Coco Bird. Shows up in these tournaments pretty frequently, playing Musketeer Mech Knight. It's a build that they've had a ton of success with in the past. Whoever wins this die roll is likely not going to matter much because I believe Half Miss wants to go first and Coco Bird wants to go second. I don't know if Mech Knight can deal with being locked from the extra deck and unable to resolve something like a Magical Musketeer Max, but we will certainly see. I'll let them know that I am prepared to view their game, and as soon as they start, I will transition you over to them. Very excited to see just what Ritual is capable of with 3 Unicorn, and always excited to see muskets. Alright, so we have made it. And let me see if I can... Oh, of course I can't see both players' hands. That would be cheating. And just a quick reminder that apparently I've forgotten to load in the Quarantine series assets. So I'll be doing that in the background at the same time, while I imagine Half Miss pours over their first turn. The first turn for Ritual is honestly very often like a puzzle, you know? You don't exactly know what you want to be doing until you see the contents of your hand, and as a result... it's hard to determine what your end board is going to be. Bryo is a great start. So we're going to start with Bryo, and afterwards we're going to fire off this copy of Kaleidoscope. Wake me if you've seen this play before. Kaleidoscope into Unicorn, I'd imagine. Yep, Herald of the Arclight going to the graveyard in order to get a copy of Necros of Unicorn. That's going to make it very difficult for Coco Bird to resolve a copy of Magical Musketeer Max. Alright, from this position, we're likely going to activate the effect of Herald of the Arclight. There's a couple of things you can get here. Against Mech Knight in particular, it might be worth picking something like a Valkyrus in order to protect your Unicorn and prevent a blowout. Often you want to be getting something like a Cyber Angel Benten if you aim to go for further ritual plays, so you can add something like a Majesty's Fiend to your hand at the end of the combo. And looks like that is what we're going for. Cyber Angel Benten telegraphs that there will be a special summon lock at the very end in some capacity. Now, Half Miss specifically is way better than me at this deck. I played this deck for a significant amount of time, and I never ascended to the combo lines that Half Miss was building. They aim to end not on Majesty's Ruler, but on Archlord Christia, which, if you're managing your fairies in graveyard correctly, can be special summoned via its own effect. Looks like we're going for a Nekroz Cycle at this point. Alright, we're going to fire off a copy of Incantation Chalice Slime, and God bless this card. One of my favorite cards ever printed. It's a generic Ritual Searcher in combination with the Incantation monsters, and just does so much for any Ritual deck that's playing Incantations. We're going to discard this copy of Shino Baroness Peacock to get a Talismander from deck. Talismander, of course, one of the most powerful of the Incantation. This one adds a Ritual monster from your deck to your hand, which in a deck with Unicorn and Brionac is pretty much all you ever need. We're going to go for a cycle here, and it's going to be met with a DD Crow. Yikes, there's only one valid target in there, so looks like the Nekroz of Brionac will be banished and the cycle will fizzle. Saravius is a fine search. Targeted removal does do particularly well against Nekroz of Unicorn. Something like a Death Barado would make quick work of it, but Saravius is just a fantastic search to prevent that from happening in the first place. Well, with that DD Crow, it looks like the combo is complete, and there is no way to continue. Let's see what Coco Bird can do. This is a very beatable board for a deck that aims to blind second every game. Alright, looks like we're going to set a column, and I think we know what's happening next. Mekhanite Blue Sky, the activation. This is a little weird. If you had purple, obviously you would prefer purple. If you had indigo, you'd prefer indigo. If you had yellow or red, you'd likely pref them over a blue just because the attack differential is better. Gonna normal summon a copy of Magical Musketeer Starfire, and while we can go into something like a Caspar into a Magical Musketeer Max, there's no way to get over the Unicorn with the monsters on board. Alright, looks like Caspar is the search, and afterwards, any activation of a spell or trap in that monster's column is going to enable the activation of Caspar. I think chat has caught on to this matchup. Unicorn Pass was Tier 1 in 2016, but the metagame has evolved. The tools that are available to decks these days are just insane, and unfortunately for Half Miss, it looks like Coco Bird does have another spell and trap, is going to be able to use purple to clean out that column, get a copy of Indigo. They might be getting OTK'd here, absent something like a Valkyris. Alright, battle phase time. We're attacking into the Unicorn. Do you have the Valk? Does not, and the Unicorn goes to the graveyard. In main phase 2, we'll be able to go into our good friend Magical Musketeer Max. I would even consider not destroying any further incantations. They don't do anything on board. They net you additional searches when you go into your Magical Musketeer Max. Oh, and just a pass, not even committing to the max here. I kind of like it. Like, if you're Coco Bird, the onus is on your opponent to make plays, and it's very difficult for them to do that. Alright, Incantation Chalice Slime going to come down. Notably, was this 4 summons? No, it was 5. Okay, I was wondering if they were playing around Nibiru here. Alright, so Chalice Slime discarding this copy of Kandal will be able to get another copy of, Bookstone, the search. Bookstone's going to be able to get a ritual spell from the graveyard back to the hand. I imagine we're getting Cycle because there's not another one. Notably, there was one incantation left on the field, so Cycle can't use its native effect, but oh no, Bookstone going to be met with Cross Domination. Going to be met with Saravius the Ancient and Ascended. Unfortunately for Coco Bird, Cross Domination does target. And that's going to be met with an Infinite Impermanence. Same deal, will negate the Bookstone effect. Cross Domination is negated, doesn't matter, because the Bookstone is as well, and the bad news is going to get worse for Half Miss. I believe this triggers Caspar. That's going to prompt a concession. Wow, and that's the end of Game 1. I'm going to real quickly reload Edo Pro, just because I want the masks to look right for the replay VOD. You will get to look at my beautiful face for just a couple of seconds while I figure this out. This is also an opportunity for you to flex in chat. So if there's anything you want the beautiful people on the Mono Bluetron YouTube channel to see, now is the time to let them know. And of course, people are just spamming Piss Gang. I don't know what I expected, but it was pretty much this, I'll be honest with you. Alright. Just about got it back up. We'll hop back in here. Get back in this game. And hopefully we'll see a little more of an interesting combo out of Half Miss instead of a Unicorn Pass followed by a quick concession. Alright, they're still in sideboarding. I'm not exactly sure what you would be sideboarding in either of these decks. You know what your opponent is doing as the Mech Knight player. You know you're aiming to go second, and likely they're going to never make you go first, despite the fact that your deck does literally nothing on the play. Maybe... Geez, I don't know. Maybe Half Miss blinds second and goes in on stuff like the Shinobirds. Maybe Coco Bird is willing to make specifically worse plays going first. You can go into max and set a card to get a column, but oh my gosh, Half Miss did an extremely heads-up play asking Coco Bird, do you have anything going first? Coco Bird says no, and not even willing to commit monsters to the field to potentially get blown out by something like a Shinobird. Well, looks like Half Miss is just playing a first-turn combo setup with an additional draw and a battle phase. That's pretty much the best case scenario for them, and pre-preparation of Rights coming down is fantastic as well. Now, you've got a couple of good targets for this. I'm not sure of Half Miss' exact list, but of course it can be met with an Ash Blossom regardless. The Shinobirds, of course, do refer to their own, but so does Saphira and Hymn of Light, which is routinely used. It's pretty good. Imagine if you still played this deck in paper. Ugh, imagine if paper tournaments existed right now, Neat98. Alright, the Incantation Talismandra is activating. And we'll see what we get off of this. A Mirror in Hand revealed for the Bookstone. So we do have access to Trishula plays. Unfortunately, there's no card on field. There is one in the graveyard and, of course, 4 in the hand. Getting a Colossalus off of Talismandra. That's very interesting with a Ritual Spell already in grip. Colossalus, the activation, I imagine we'll be seeing Kaleidoscope here. And that is what we're getting. We're going to fire off this copy of Kaleidoscope. That's going to send a Herald of the Arclight at minimum to the graveyard. Yep, for a Unicorn from hand. So Herald of the Arclight will trigger. We do have a copy of Mirror in our hand, but I don't exactly know. We could make Trishula just to get in damage. We could make Valkyrus and then tribute a Talismandra for a draw. Depends. To those of you saying I miss Colossus, I think you understand why I stopped playing this deck in paper. Unicorn Pass again? Oh, ye of little faith. I am sure they have more than that. Thinking really hard on the activation of Herald here. It's not outside the realm of possibility that Coco Bird has additional hand traps with which to interact. Something like a DD Crow would go very far. Kenzaki Joker says, I think there is a Cardian player. Can we see them? Oh, God. Yeah, we can, but I am not going to be very good at commentary. There is a Cardian player. I will reveal that. Alright, it looks like we have got most of the no-shows figured out. And about 10 people have dropped round 1, so this will be a 6-round tournament. Checking real quick, is Half Miss this deep in the tank? Oh, yep, apparently they were, getting an Incantation Shallow Slime. I mean, these lines are extremely difficult. They're just, these lines are extremely difficult, and, the game will really only last the one turn anyway if you're playing Ritual. Alright, a Pankratops Tribute Summon is okay, and, wow, that's gonna be the pass once again. Malleus asks, are there any way to see what all of the other decks are? Yeah, I can just read them out to you now. I mean, we've got time. The Blue Sky coming down in the same column as the Unicorn. Again, 2,000 attack. This is a reasonable hit for Pankratops. If it leaves the field, it will no longer have monsters in its column and will no longer search. But I think you probably want to keep the Pankratops for something that's actually threatening. A monster that potentially could out the Unicorn. This is not it. Alright, so here are the decks that are represented at one copy apiece. The twos I do not have. Why do I not have the twos? Let me scroll back. I'll get you the twos as well. Alright, we've got 2 Dolce, 2 Trains, 2 Mystic Mine, 2 Weathery, and then we've got 1 apiece of Dinosaur, Lair, Flower Cardian, Sharks, Speedroid, Cyberdark, Gren Maju, Necroz, Gladiator Beasts, Adignister, Subterror, Traptrix, Witchcrafter, Giant Ballpark, Noid, Mermail, Tenyi, Orchist, Dragon Maid, Goki, and Pendulum! Alright, the purple to search off the Blue Sky, as expected. Setting a column in this zone, sheesh. I think I might pop as Pankra. Like, I might just straight up pop this set card. It clears the entire zone. Oh, Wa says they switched from Train to Goki, so it's a little bit off. That means Goki is actually represented at 2 or maybe 3 copies. Goki, of course, the deck that I played in the Popper Yu-Gi-Oh! League, and I think people understood after we played it, myself, Coder, Farfa, and I don't think anyone in the House of Champs match played it. Oh, and Ruggles. I think people understood that the deck actually has legs in TCG, with access to things like a Solda, making warrior combos much easier. Alright, we're going for the Purple Nightfall, or the activation of Pankratops here. We're going to go ahead and pop the target of the Purple Nightfall, which is the Blue Sky, but it accomplishes what it wanted anyway, which is clearing out that zone. And unfortunately, failing to pop the Purple Nightfall in particular means that they can still walk over the Necroz of Unicorn if they have access to something like a Valkyris. Alright, Pankratops coming down, and now Valkyris is no longer an out either. What a shocker. I would not have expected this deck to not be able to stand up to this. Goki was legit a tier 1 deck, right, back in the day? That is correct, but largely carried on the back of Firewall and Topologic Gumblar Dragon, 2 cards that are thankfully no longer part of this format. The Goki of 2020 aims to just build one of their several, because for some reason they have more than one, unkillable towers. It's an OTK deck that can pop a ton of cards with something like Power Load Ogre, and boy oh boy are the Codebreaker Virus cards extremely strong. Alright, half miss. Let's see what you got. This is a devastatingly powerful board. But Ritual does have some devastatingly powerful cards at its disposal. Lightning Storms, evenly matched, the Shino Birds. There's a lot that half can do, especially with a copy of Chalice Slime in hand. Leading with a copy of Preparation of Rites. That's great news because the Kaleidoscope is still in the graveyard. I don't know. Maybe it's great news. Kaleidoscope, of course, can be activated from the graveyard as well. Just a determination on if you want the Kaleidoscope banished or not. But Chad is absolutely correct. Coco Bird is doing a fantastic job of playing around this deck in particular. No cards in hand, so no availability of Trishula. I mean, when was the last time you saw someone effectively play around Trishula? Certainly it wasn't in 2020. Show Weather Painters, maybe? We'll see. I actually have faith in Weather Painter. It's a deck that can catch people extremely off guard, and I wouldn't be surprised if it showed up in later rounds of contention. What's more, it's also super slow, and not super fun to watch. Alright, the Saravius, the add-off of Preparation of Rites. Hilariously, that is a 7-star monster. No idea why that is. We're going to get this Necroz of Kaleidoscope back, and then we can fire off this young copy of Chalice Slime afterwards, I expect. Chat saying, is it as slow as Eldritch? Worse. It is slower. Seriously, if Weather Painter is ever meta-relevant, you are going to see some very frustrated players. Discarding the Kaleidoscope. Looks like we didn't need it at all. This is kind of frustrating because you want the Chalice Slime to resolve getting you a monster. Kaleidoscope's in the graveyard, so you could theoretically activate its effect, but now you've got this idiot copy of Candle on your side of the field, so you no longer can fulfill its condition. Is this a non-meta cup? It is not. It uses the PPG adjusted list. So kind of. The only thing the PPG adjusted list changes is a Hulk ban, a block ban, and a Scarlet Sanguine limit. So it is a tournament notably absent of Adamancipator. No one was brave enough to bring the deck. People literally thought that they were going to win this tournament with Cyberdark, but not Adamancipator. And there are some Eldritch builds, but instead of being extremely Resident Sleeper Jet Synchron setups, they're playing things like Zodiac and Baylordrock. Alright, looks like this Shino Bird is actually going to resolve. Shino Baroness Peacock is an insane card here. Coco Bird's last opportunity to fire off this copy of Pankratops is right now. But unfortunately, the Saravius in the hand of Half Miss is going to prevent that. Going to shuffle back those two, and then afterwards, we're likely going to get, they are playing it, a copy of Anamano Inawato. Oh, wow. So this is strong, but not necessarily broken. Like, there's no OTK here. We know the Saravius is in hand. The Amano Iwado can just be walked over by the existing board. I mean, the Shino Baroness Peacock got a sweet, like, 4-for-1, but they were already down 4 cards. So how much does it really matter? That last card in hand, it has got to be fantastic. Oh, what a rip off the top. 46 cards in deck, and they drew Pot of Extravagance for turn. I'm not mad. I'm extremely mad. Alright, so Mech Knight, Purple Knife, all going to walk over one of these tokens. It was kind of Valkyr bust there, I think. Chad has identified it. Though the deck is called Ritual Good Stuff, it's maybe the largest misnomer in Yu-Gi-Oh! This deck is anything but good. Alright, we're getting Mech Knight Red. Theoretically, Coco Bird could have very few spells and traps in hand, but 1 is going to be enough. And a special Red Moon to that zone, and do we have a Mech Knight in graveyard? We do! Go ahead and banish blue to destroy the remaining card on the field. I would consider not doing that, just so Kaleidoscope is off, but I think it's probably a matter of inches in a game that you are winning by miles. To chat saying this deck is Unicorn Pass, it's just bad Necroz. I mean, Unicorn Pass is the extent of what good Necroz is capable of. So this is the first turn this game Trishula has been on. Alright, so let's go ahead and fire off this copy of Necroz Kaleidoscope, banishing this copy of Necroz of Unicorn. Wow, we can get another one. Cycle's okay. Cycle's alright. Do we have anything in graveyard? I think we have a Colossalus, but no monsters from the extra deck. Coco Bird being very, very reasoned with what they're summoning here. Understanding that while Necroz's wins usually come from decks that abuse the extra deck, and decks that have trouble dealing with cards like Trishula and Saravius. They really suck if you're just summoning main deck monsters over and over again and refuse to give them the extra deck monsters necessary to recoup some of their lost advantage. Looks like we're going for Brionac next. Alright, we're firing off this Brio. Anything we're doing here just makes the cycle stronger. Getting the Trishula, we know we have the Necros Mirror in hand from turn 1. That's the next fire. We've got the Colossus and the Brio in graveyard. Are we actually going to get to see Necros of Trishula resolve? Ooh, and leaving the Brio in grave. I like that, setting up the cycle potentially later. Trishula is activating. This is your last opportunity to interact. We might see the Pankratops activation, but we might not, just to threaten it. I don't think Half Miss feels particularly threatened by anything on this board. I would maybe consider even banishing the set card. Always important to be banishing things like Yellow Star from the graveyard over anything else, but could clear the field of Mech Knights entirely and threaten the Pankratops with a battle. As soon as its effect is activated, of course, you can just activate the Saravius in hand. Depends on how high you prioritize the set card. I'm shocked. They actually might be able to walk with this. Wow, looks like almost all the other matches are finished. That's very quick. Chat asking, what could that set card possibly be? Well, think about it this way. You were operating under Pot of Extravagance last turn. We know this deck is playing cards like Pot of Desires. Could be a draw spell very easily. A Desires would basically win your opponent the game, so not a good idea to give them access to it. It could be a Magical Musketeer, spell or trap, that they are unfortunately caught on despite not having it. It looks like we are not going for anything but the Pankratops here, keeping the Saravius in hand for later. Desperado, the card in hand, seems to telegraph that if it was a Magical Musketeer spell, they wouldn't be setting it. Alright, let's see the card off the top, and if that set card is actually Pot of Desires. Alright, back comes purple. Purple going to activate using its own effect to target itself. Going to get a copy of Girsu. Don't you just love that this card can search Girsu? God dang, that is so strong. Alright, the Girsu's coming down, and it will be activated. Let's see what the send is. This will give us a lot of information. World Legacy's Memory. So no long involved VFD setup combo here, but really what more do you need? We're going to summon a token to both players' sides of the field. And from here, we can likely go into a copy of Linkuriboh. And if it's still in the extra, a Lib. We did activate Pot of Extravagance, so maybe not. Indigo Eclipse, the draw for turn. That's a good one, but not a fantastic one. Nothing on this board yet outs Trishula. Chat, absolutely correct. Girsu is a very future banned card. There's Morningstar. Alright. Morningstar it is. And Spectrum Supreme. Oh, is this how it's gonna end? Spectrum Supreme, of course, if there's no cards in its column, can attack directly. 3,000 attack. And that's the end of the game. Wow, a frustrating loss for Ritual. It's weird. That second game, I think, was really illustrative of what the problem with Ritual in particular is. The first turn, all they really could do was Unicorn Pass with a Pankratops setup. The second turn, it felt like they had won the game by resolving the effect of Shinobaroness Peacock, but their opponent still had life. The third turn, it felt like they had won the game by resolving the effect of Trishula, but their opponent still had life. And all their opponent needed was one pop-off turn where it takes Ritual firing at full capacity, operating on all cylinders, literally every turn of the game in order to win a set. I mean, unfortunately, I don't think Unicorn 3 is going to cut it these days. Hey, how's everybody doing? It's time for round 2 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Quarantine series, and oh, Jesus. I mean, I really have nothing to tell you other than, boy, did I get you a rough one. This is... Chat, you asked for it. I don't know how much longer this is going to last, so I have gone ahead and fielded the game that you all demanded, but I am not going to be able to commentate this well because Oh gosh. It is between an individual who is a well-known member of the Discord, um, playing Salamangrate, and an individual on Flower Cardian. Now, I don't know what Cardian does. The last time I remember playing against Cardian, it was 2016, and I was streaming for 5 people a morning, one of which was a Flower Cardian main. If you go back and watch really, really old 10-minute testings, they show up in the replays, and let me tell you, commentating those is a disaster. I have no idea what Cardians do. I expect they FTK, but we'll see. I'm just waiting for the Salmangrade player to get into this game, and then I will go ahead and send you over them. There. Chat asks, why same day as LCS? Are these Rogue or Meta too? What do you mean, why same day as LCS? This is a free event. The LCS one today is free though too, right? It's not meant to compete with LCS. It just ended up this was the day I was free. Tomorrow I'm preparing for a 24-hour stream for charity that I hope that you all will stop by for. It's going to be an extremely fun time. We're going to be playing for a Minnesota Freedom Fund approved charity. I'll be matching donations up to 500, and we're going to have a couple of guest appearances by YouTubers, a fair amount of extremely cool games that we play, and I will probably lose my sanity sometime around hour 8. Hopefully we'll not get food poisoning like a couple of times ago. Alright, they are now in game, and I mean, once more into the breach, I suppose. If nothing else, I expect this to be entertaining. Chat asking, is there any Endymion in the tournament today? There is one Endymion player. Alright, here we go. Oh, God. And it begins. Super Koi Koi, the first activation. Okay, so the summon is Flower Cardian Peony with Butterfly. Its effect is mandatory, but can't activate, of course, because it's negated. Going to be followed up with a Flower Cardian Zebra Grass. If you control level 7 Flower Cardian, you can special this card from your hand, and you can't normal or special for the rest of the turn, except for Flower Cardians. You can reveal any number of Flower Cardians in your hand, shuffle them into the deck, and draw that many cards. It's got a Magical Mallet-esque effect. Peony with Butterfly's effect is that you can draw a card, show it, and if it's a Flower Cardian, how do I describe this? Fate seal your opponent's deck. We are going to special summon a copy of Flower Cardian Clover with Boar. This is special by tributing a Flower Cardian monster you control. You can draw a card, show it, and if it's a Flower Cardian monster, you can destroy a monster your opponent controls. Obviously not particularly powerful on an empty board. But the important part is that it draws you a card. 2 cards with Koi Koi, not very powerful. Ah, good. Chad is teaching me at the same time. Pol Pot's Pans learns a new archetype, a tournament story. Oh, not only is this going to be a tournament story for Pol Pot's Pans, it's going to be a tournament story for MBT as well, because I have just about as much knowledge of this archetype as you do. Alright, Flower Cardian Maple with Veer up next. You tribute a Flower Cardian monster to special summon this card. If it's special summoned, you can draw a card. And if it's a Flower Cardian, you can destroy a spell or trap your opponent controls. Of course, that doesn't matter. Really just trying to draw cards here. Next is Polonia. This card just doesn't do anything. It's a free special summon. You don't have to tribute a monster for it. Now you'll notice they don't have a tuner yet, and that's important. Reincarnation is up next. You target a Flower Cardian in your graveyard, add it to your hand, then special a Flower Cardian from your hand, a la Eldritch, ignoring its summoning conditions. And if it's sent to the graveyard by a Flower Cardian's monster effect, you can excavate 5 and add a spell or trap to your hand. We're going to resummon this card of Peony with Butterfly, and of course this time its effect will resolve. Get ourselves another copy of Peony with Butterfly. I don't really know what you do next. There's one tuner on field. Alright, Super Koi Koi now being activated from Graveyard. You can banish it and tribute a monster to special summon a Flower Guardian from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. Looks like we're sending the Peony with Butterfly, the tuner, to get another Peony with Butterfly from hand. And of course that effect will trigger as well. Let's go ahead and draw a card. Oh, it's another Super Koi Koi, so it goes directly to the graveyard. So I'm like, where do you go from here? Well, apparently here. Looks like we're performing a Synchro Summon. This is Flower Guardian Board Fly. It is a level 6. If a Flower Guardian monster you control attacks a defense position monster, they do piercing. And once per turn, you can banish a Flower Guardian from your graveyard until the end of your opponent's next turn. They cannot activate effects of cards in the graveyard or special summon monsters from the graveyard, but it will be met with Nibiru, the Primal Being. Extremely powerful card. And of course, a fantastic way to deal with what Flower Guardian is up to. Whew. I appreciate you, Pol Pot stands, for doing your best to prevent the Guardian player from taking the round into time. So I don't know what you do from here. I think concede. Alright, looks like it's going to be a pass. And now the Salamangreat player gets to go off. So, Salamangreat Balinks, the summon off of Four-Mund Skipper, and I love this. Four-Mund Skipper is just such a powerful card. It enables a summon of a Link 1 in the form of Salamangreat Balinks, but more importantly, it also, when it goes to the graveyard, adds a level 5 or higher Cyberse monster from your deck to your hand. What one do you think they will get? Now, the pool of Cyberse monsters that are level 5 and higher and also playable is exactly one card deep. It's Parallel Exceed. From here, we can reincarnation summon the Balinks, or if we have another Salamangreat, we can go ahead and get the Spinny out and link summon a copy of Sunlight Wolf. That's going to trigger the effect of the Parallel Exceed in hand. And that's going to trigger the effect of the Parallel Exceed on field, and if they so desire, the effect of the Sunlight Wolf as well, putting back this copy of Spinny. Cool that you can chain block like this. Wow, in fact, if you go into a Rafflesia here, you've actually chain blocked your entire play. Alright, we're going to update Jammer from here. Oh, is this the end of the game already? Wow. Well, Chad, as much as I want to believe in the Guardian comeback, I don't think it's very likely from this position. Alright, out comes Transcode Talker. You know where this is going. Transcode Talker is going to activate, targeting the update Jammer in Graveyard. And I think that is going to be the end of the game. Yep, here comes access code. And we haven't yet activated the effect of Update Jammer, so we'll go ahead and give that guy 2 attacks. And that is going to be the end of Game 1. I think pretty unsurprising for anyone who is familiar with Flower Guardian, but certainly surprising to me who had no idea what was going on the entire game. Flower Guardian is one of those decks that tops like a regional once every 20 years, and like I don't, no one who played against it and no one who played it has any idea what it does. The Guardian player saying, I came here to have fun, not win. LUL. So I'm not exactly sure what you'd be boarding. What exactly does Flower Guardian do that's hand trappable? Chat says, Guardians are surprisingly consistent. The problem is they lose to Nibiru, and their best play is sitting on a 5 that negates 1 spell card. Looks like we're starting with stacking. That's a good opener. Choose 3 Flower Guardian monsters with different names in your deck. Place them on top of your deck in any order during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a Flower Guardian in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Sure. Well, putting 3 cards on top of your deck is pretty strong. Especially in any order, as it removes any sort of, I don't know, interaction. Any sort of RNG from the equation, I suppose is what I'd say. Alright, down comes Flower Guardian Pine. This one is the tree monster. If this card is normal summon, draw a card and then send it to the graveyard. And Ash Blossom coming out, but I mean, all of these cards do the same thing. So for some reason, some of these cards have a hard once per turn and some don't. Looks like we're going for Paulonia here. We are going to special summon this card from the hand. And then what? Deck is Bootleg Adamancipator, I guess. Clover with Boar, these summon. Much less frightening to be going for these RNG style effects when you know the top cards of your deck. Alright, looks like we have gone for the good one. Flower Guardian Giant Trunade. Willow is the name of this card. Shuffles a Flower Guardian from your graveyard into your deck and draws you a card. Alright, we'll shuffle back this copy of Pine. Followed up with the Willow with Calligrapher. So this one, unfortunately, requires a tribute. And speaking of tributes, Nibiru and Valor coming down. Please, come on. Oh, that is... God, that's so painful. 2 games of Nibiru in a row. Oh, man. I thought this format was supposed to do something about rock. Time to reveal my funny tech. Alright, let's see it. Oh! What? What is the purpose of this, exactly? I mean, there's no way that this does anything. Well, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And, I run Isold. I see. Okay, well that is why. Alright, let's lead with a copy of Salamander Great Foxy. If they miss everything, maybe they could do it. They found Circle, though. Oh, yikes. Circle into Gazelle, I expect. Yeah. Oh, well, sorry, Flower Guardian, but there's a reason that no one plays this deck, outside of the fact that no one's actually read the card, or any of the cards that are involved. Ooh, and it looks like a lot of the Plunder players are dropping. Oh, God, I'm going to have to get them in soon. I thought every flower Cardian locked you into Cardians, says chat. I believe some of them do, some of them don't, but Super Koi Koi is the way that you go into his sold. Can we watch Salad Code Talkers? We could. I was planning on everybody not reading them. I see. A lot of people in this chat are asking if X2s can still top after 2 rounds. And X2 will top. I do not think it is going to be you if you are X2 after 2 rounds. Respectively, I think that your breakers are going to be extremely bad. Bullpots Pens, this was more card reading than I anticipated this morning. Me too. I mean, thankfully we didn't have to read any of the synchros because you drew Nibiru 2 games in a row, and so it goes. Man, Nibiru is such a house. What a card. And Salamangreat is simultaneously the deck that loses the hardest to it and the deck that gets to play it the most effectively. Maybe the OCG can fix Plunder. For those of you wondering, Plunder is completely competent. It's not terrible. The issues with Plunder are just like a higher powered format and the fact that it's very hard to play. Like, it's a very difficult deck to navigate. Especially when Salamangreat gets to do stuff like this. Is it strong? Nah. But is it better than Flower Cardian? For sure. Absolutely right. Player error is the biggest issue with Plunder. Alright, going to Transcode Talker here, not even giving a chance to play the game. We're doing the exact same play, folks. If you missed this play last time, you're getting to see it again. Transcode Talker bringing back this copy of Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf, and oh wait. Yeah, from here we'll use Transcode Talker and Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf to make Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker will gain 3,000 attack. Oh, we don't even need to do that. Great, we can use Nibiru. Oh, wait, that might be a way that you've just missed lethal. 53 plus 18 is 71. They still have to find 900 damage somewhere. Well, this is mandatory, so 500 damage, I suppose. Yeah, they're actually 200 off, I believe? No, 400 off. I guess Spinny in hand would do it. Oh my gosh, does the Cardian player live? Alright, if any deck can top deck, it's gonna be Flower Cardian. But they decide they've seen enough, will concede, and I believe that is the end of the game. It says waiting for side, but I would imagine that that Pol Pot's Pans did not concede that game. Oh my god, did they? Did Pol Pot's Pans concede that game? Oh, time limit! Oh, you have to play faster! Oh my god. Cardian has snuck back into a Game 3 on the back of the Edo Pro timer. Oh, Cardian truly best deck! Oh no, chat, the opposite. Cardian did not lose to time. Cardian is winning to time. Oh, wow. Chat saying he had to hit cancel on Nibiru so many times. The Nibiru was on the field. This is the actual Cardian win con. You get your opponent to read your cards for so long that they get to call slow play on you and get you a game loss. Let's see if we can see any other results real quick. I need help. Oh, looks like I'm gonna have to resolve this. Did a plunder make it? Asks Chad. We're in round 2. If every plunder player is X2 at this point, I mean, I wouldn't be, like, surprised. I would be frustrated, but I wouldn't be surprised. Alright, looks like we are actually going to side for game 3. Oh, wow. The Cardian player giving no quarter here. Not doing the gentlemanly move of conceding when there was lethal on board. The problem is you can't do stuff like this. Like, if you're the Cardian player, you can't rely on a win based on time limit while your opponent has lethal and then expect karma to be on your side for game 3. It just doesn't work like that. There very much are Yu-Gi-Oh gods, and this is one of the ways you piss them off. Cardian players have no honor. They can't fit it alongside the combo lines. Space is too tight. We don't have room for sportsmanship. Alright, let's go, Foxy. Now again, everyone's saying they open Nibiru, they open Nibiru, they open Nibiru. Oh, was that a whiff? I didn't see what that last card was. No, it was a will. The Salman Great player is going first. So very easily they could not draw Nibiru, but draw traps. And the trap cards also end the game. Ugh. Alright, the Salman Great Sanctuary, the ad. We're going to activate Gazelle here. Either one of the Gazelle picks is fantastic. Rage will clear off the Cardian so you can't tribute for half of the deck. Roar will negate the effects. Looks like we are going for Rage. I agree with that. Of course, I'm agreeing with that based off some pretty rudimentary Cardian knowledge. Pour one out for Exertim, the 2016 hero, who would teach me on stream how to play this ridiculous deck by beating me with it over and over. Chad, I think, may be understanding the problem with Cardian. How does Cardian play through Disruption? It doesn't. It literally cannot. There is no way. Unfortunately, it is looking like... Who's his opponent for this round? After top 8ing the last one, I believe Jeff Leonard is actually X2 after 2. Alright, Rhoda. Cardians are warriors. This is truly a We Are Cowboys final mix moment. Alright. Flower Cardian Pine, the normal summon. Here we go. Okay. 6 cards in hand. Flower Gathering, the activation. So this card summons 4 monsters from the deck. That's a pretty sweet out to rage. But also a pretty sweet roar. Now this is activate, so you can fire another Flower Gathering if he has one. It looks like we are going for Flower Guardian Cherry Blossom with Curtain in the zone of the Sunlight Wolf. I guess we get to add back this copy of Gazelle as well. All right. Does this prompt the rage? What do you think, chat? All right. Paulonia comes down. The last one that doesn't require a tribute, I believe. I'm not sure though. I'm literally talking out of my ass about Flower Guardians. I have no idea what they do. Why are these warriors? They're literally cards. These could be plants. All right, here comes the rage. And going to get everything but the Paulonia. That's going to trigger the Pine. Draws a card. We are out of normal summons. Special summoning Maple with Deer just a little bit too late. Good to go for the Sanctuary here. Oh, bad rip. A Gathering off the top goes to the graveyard. Next out comes Willow. Willow is going to fire. Oh my gosh. Did base Lowly really pick up on Dragon Maid? Oh, Christ. Alright, I mean, it's weird. I don't know much about Cardian, but I feel as if this isn't going to accomplish anything unless they also have one of the supremely broken spells. Another Maple with Deer, okay. Going for the Sanctuary here. Not using the Balinks to protect that. Do like that. Alright, Willow time. Willow activating, targeting Willow. Willow is a +1 and not a hard once per turn. The whole point of the deck is to loop Willow as much as possible. And stacking the rip off the top! Oh no, talk about stacking. Wow, this could happen! This could happen. Alright, so these cards go to the top of the deck. What remains in the hand? That, I think, is what will determine it, of course. I fear Cardian Man may fall to time limit as well. We shall see. Super Koi Koi as well! Oh my god! Okay, well there's 2 Cardians. Oh my gosh, this is really happening. Banishing 1 card face down. Pine and Peony with Butterfly. Koi Koi activation here from the graveyard. You're going to tribute a monster to special Flower Guardian from your hand. Alright, it's Pine with Crane. This is... Oh my god, they found Willow. Jesus. I do like that the most broken card is on the most broken Cardian. And I can't do anything. All this, and they don't have the levels for a synchro! Are you kidding me? Oh no. Well, if that ain't just the most Cardian moment I've ever seen. Let's finish them. This. What's the play here? Let's finish this with a time loss. Oh, the time giveth and the time taketh away. Oh, shouts out for the Guardian player doing doing what was necessary. But not gonna lie, I personally would have been quite upset if I was the Salamand grade player and I lost this best of 3. Oh, wow. Well, I mean, that's Cardian. Hey, everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, a.k.a. MBT. And we are back with the 3rd round of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Quarantine Series number 6. Folks, we've got some interesting Yu-Gi-Oh! Interesting Yu-Gi-Oh! Indeed. There were a couple of matches I had my eye on. One was the lone undefeated Plunder Patrol pilot. 3 Plunder Patrol pilots are still in. 2 of them are 0-2. 1 is 2-0. So I wanted to feature that person, but they were playing against an individual we'd already featured on camera. What are the chances of that? We've had 4 people total. The other match I had my eye on was an individual playing Sky Striker, but unfortunately, it's a mirror, and I don't want to suffer through that hell. As a result, I will be bringing you 2 undefeated duelists playing some very interesting decks. I'm talking about Based Lowly, Mount Fuji, playing Dragon Maid. They sent me a PM last night at about 11 p.m. and said, hey, should I play Dragon Maid for this tournament? And I said, LMAO, go for it. They're currently undefeated on this deck, but if anyone can make a deck this bad work, it's going to be someone like that. Against Watrain, playing a deck that, you may recognize if you're watching Simo's YouTuber Grand Championship, Goki Towers Turbo. I'm going to be very excited to show off what these 2 decks that have largely been completely unexplored and not a significant part of the meta at all can do. So, I'm going to send you over there as soon as they are prepared, and, hopefully we will get to see some fun, fast, exciting Yu-Gi-Oh! That doesn't just end on, unbeatable boss monsters. Alright, let's head there now. Alright, so I don't know how much relies on the die roll, I'll be completely honest with you. I would imagine nothing. Like, literally nothing. Alright. So Goki is fantastic both at OTKing and at setting up boards that break existing boards. Chamber Dragon Maid is about the best normal summon in the deck, I believe, but I don't know what it's going through. It's being met with an Ash Blossom here. And that's going to be met with a Called by the Grave. Apparently, whatever Mount Fuji is trying to do, they are going to get away with it. Tamamo Bay says, I wish to watch Dragon Maid, but I must go play a 2-hour-long game. Folks, there's a reason I'm not featuring the Striker Mirror. Dragon Maid Changeover, the activation here. This is the fusion summoning spell, which can go into their extremely powerful boss monster, Dragon Maid This is an individual negate. It floats into their other fusion monster, which, under the right conditions, can pop individual cards as well. And I do like this idea from Mount Fuji. We've seen CJLX bring Dragon Maid, and often it's looked like a bad Rocket Link deck. You know, playing it as a stun deck that aims to accrue advantage with the individual Dragon Maids, and also negate things, interrupt boards with back row, might be the better way to go about it, especially when Chamber is all but a one-card combo. The Ghost, Mourner, and Moonlit Chill going to potentially negate the Chamber Dragon Maid. Mount Fuji decides that is not good enough. Says, all right, hey, you want to negate my Chamber Dragon Maid, you got it. Here comes Junk forward, and I will give you one guess as to what the effect that will be negated is. Suprex is a good one. Suprex is weird. A lot depends on if this effect is activated. And it looks like it's not going to be. So from here, ideally, you want to go into Isolde, but activating Isolde's effect is a short way to get your play negated by the Dragon Maid. I'd imagine that's what's going to happen now. Suprex is going to activate as well. Oh, that's pretty funny! Chain blocking the first activation of Isolde, but there's no way you're going to be able to chain block the second one. Are weathers still in? Asks chat. Well, let me check. So, the two weathery pilots. Oh, it doesn't work that way. Okay, that person and that person. One's O2. And the other is 1-1. So, I mean, technically, but don't get excited. Alright, unsurprisingly, Isolde is going to be negated. I drew two Garnets, one of them being Neos, says Wa. Oh, that's unfortunate. And looks like from this position, we are likely just going to be able to walk in and finish this one. SHEOU activating here. During the standby phase, you get to special summon a Dragon Maid monster from your hand to graveyard. We'll go for Lower Par. And then we'll activate the effect of Changeover, adding back to hand the Chamber Dragon Maid, who can then be normal summoned to activate her effect. I mean, this probably is how you have to play Dragon Maid, right? Like a resource engine that complements a stun archetype. Very unavailable in high-powered formats, but if the power level of the format is turned down just a little bit, decks like this suddenly are very possible in the right hands. Axe says, my opponent isn't showing up for round 3, so I'm going to be 1-2. Take that, bruh. Hey, if Jepesetta loses, maybe we'll have a Weathery Mirror. Alright, we're going to get in for a fair amount of damage here. Not a ton, but not particularly necessary. You know, like, it doesn't matter that Fuji isn't OTKing this turn. What does matter is that they're basically out of resources on the side of Watrain. From here, we can activate the Changeover that was put back in hand for, I guess, a second one? Yeah, no reason not to. Nope, just going for House Dragon Maid here. This card, much less powerful, but during any standby phase, not just your own, you get to target a Dragon Maid monster you control, and then special summon a Dragon Maid monster from your hand or graveyard in defense, who is 1 level lower. Now, I don't think we have any targets for this. I'm going to activate Shio here to special a level 9 or lower Dragon Maid from hand or graveyard. Oh, maybe we can. Maybe we can. Gonna get Chamber here, and wow, Chamber just searching a spell or trap literally every turn is unbelievably strong. And we're back, I believe. Oh my goodness. Shouts out to Comcast, shouts out to Xfinity Wi-Fi, big ups to, I don't know, pretty much everything else. Spectrum Internet, Stan Spectrum. All right, so here's what's happened for game two. Wa conceded, and then game two fired a Neos Fusion that was met with an Ash Blossom, and is now firing to a pointer of the Red Lotus in the draw phase of Mount Fuji. The Dragon Maids simply were too powerful. That is just what happened. Alright, so a pointer of the Red Lotus not really doing anything by banishing these two. Changeover is the one that you care about, of course, because it's the mechanism by which you get OTK'd. Sparky, don't worry about it. You'll likely get a win for this round. I just have to figure out why this is happening. It is a challenge problem specifically. Alright, so we're going to lead with a copy of Twist Cobra, special summon a Butter Spy, and now that we're aware of the contents of our opponent's entire hand, all we have to play around is the one infinite impermanence, and we can walk away with this. Nothing in the graveyard worth anything. Going into a Twist Cobra is fine, but there's really no way to get a free Goki onto the field. The two mechanisms by which you do that are Headbat and Tag Team. What's the name of that card? It's not Tag Team. One of them is going to be met by Infinite Impermanence, so... Olimpus. That is exactly what happened, yes. I would appreciate if you two could play a game. I will figure out how to cause it to appear on challenge after we're off screen. Change over the activate here, rematch. And I assume we'll be seeing the special summon of Sheou. Wow, Tempest the send for that. We'll just go to battle phase real quick and walk over this copy of Isolde. And that likely is going to be the end of the game. We'll set a couple of cards and pass it back. And while the Sheou is going to be infinite impermanenced, I don't think it's going to matter very much. This is kind of a crusty scenario that you can get into. This turns off potentially an infinite impermanence that you set on purpose in your opponent's column. As a result, you have to negate this. You go into a House Dragon Maid to keep your back row live. We know that one is called because we saw it off the appointer of the Red Lotus. Looks like Wa is going for a 50-50 on the Cosmic Cyclone on the card that was protected. And yep, as expected, it is the unknown infinite impermanence. Normal summoning Octastretch here. If there's a Linkuriboh in the graveyard, this actually does accomplish everything you want because you can go in a rematch from here. Alright, called by on Octastretch, and that is going to be the end of the game, I expect. Wow, and a decisive victory out of Dragon Maid. Not something I expected, but, wow, impressive to see for sure. A short game between two pretty interesting decks, one of which really never got a chance to get off the ground. Apologies for the issues with the stream. I'm going to take a short break in which I try to repair challenge, and then afterwards, I will return with another match from this round, because I think there's a lot still going. All right, be back shortly. Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, and we're back with the fourth round of the 6 Yu-Gi-Oh! Quarantine series. Folks, we are halfway through Swiss already. Already halfway through Swiss, and there's a ton of really cool, interesting decks that are doing extremely well, two of which we will be featuring in this round. Now, we've seen undefeated Goki, we've seen undefeated Dragon Maid, but from here on out, the undefeateds actually mean something. People who pick up games on stream this round, the next round, and the round after are potential locks for top 8, provided their breakers are good enough. This is the last maybe for our undefeated players. We are watching Lil Pip on Plunder Patrol, a first feature in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Quarantine series, versus Jojo the Gangstar on Generator. We haven't seen any Generator here today, but I think that is about to change. Here, let me just refresh and see if I can find their game. Do not see it yet. I see. That is because I am in the wrong place. So I will send you over there momentarily, and hopefully we can get this going. Those of you saying no weather, if weather picks up this round, there's one weather player that's still X1. If weather picks up this round, we'll do it. All right, here we are. Now, I do not know what Lil Pip is doing. Plunder Patrol has a couple of people piloting the deck here today. I believe Lil Pip is the only one still in, and they are XO. The other two Plunder players literally lost their first 2 games and then dropped. We're going to lead for the Generator player with a copy of Boss Quest. Generator Boss Quest is going to get Boss Stage and Boss Fight. Oh, so you already have everything, eh? And this is an okay opening. The normal summon is going to determine a lot about what the Generator build is playing. But it is also very possible that they just don't have one. One mistake, or one issue with Generator is that there's not a lot of good normal summons other than Lopter or like a really high investment combo, something like Gearsu or Cyber's Starter. Chat asking what records can go to Top Cut. It's going to be the undefeated player, I believe 6 X1s, and the X2 with the best breakers, I believe, are going to be top 8. We've had a lot of drops. People are really anxious to just leave immediately today. I mean, it is a Saturday. It's nice. Go hang out with your friends. But as a result of that, it might be a couple other X2s get in as well. All right, so it looks like we're going to start with a Silent Angler. That's going to trigger a Parallel Exceed from hand. Not an ideal start from Plunder Patrol. I will not front. And Summon Limit is going to put a quick end to this turn, and likely the game as well. Silent Angler is a very interesting card. Plunder Patrol does summon from hand occasionally, just by virtue of the way Golden Hair activates. But Silent Angler is the extra material necessary often to make the Plunder Patrol Link 2, which is critical to unlocking a significant amount of their plays. Unfortunately, any of those plays are not going to be available under Summon Limit. Alright. Well, Har on board and Summon Limit and Boss Fight and Boss Room seem to be pretty much game over. I mean, the Plunder Patrol player would have to find, like, pretty specifically Spell and Trap Destruction to get out of this one. Absolutely right, chat. Plunder does have a difficult time dealing with spells and traps, just in general. They are packing heat in the form of Plunder Patrol ship Bran, but it requires a fire monster on the field or in graveyard. It looks like Lopter will fulfill that condition, but getting to Bran is going to be a challenge and a half. It would have to be normal Redbeard, go into Bran on your opponent's turn to eat the summon limit, but you're doing that through a Har, through an Utgarda, and, you know, let's be honest, that's not going to happen. Are there any Liches left in contention? I actually have not checked. I guess I certainly could. Give me 1 second and I will... Or why don't I check during signing? Which should be momentarily, if I'm being completely honest. All right, so Plunder Patrol Ship Shipyard is going to be a good start to any turn, but oh man, it is going to be met with a har. Now, this is not the end of the world. You can activate its second effect to bring the shipyard back. I think this is on activation, not the activation of the effect. But getting a Plunder Patrol into the spell and trap card zone is much easier said than done. It would probably require a normal summon. Har activating here as well, I would consider not doing that, given the percent chance that my opponent likely has something like a Golden Hair in hand. Parallel Exceed, also a fine send. Really sucks under summon limit. Terrible card. How did Cyberdark end up doing? Oh, I can find that out for you right now. Alright. They are X3 after 3 rounds. I know that's shocking. Alright, so Plunder Patrol Ships Shipping is a card that you don't often have an opportunity to just fire, but it fusions a Fiend Fusion, using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. We're going to send a Redbeard, as expected there was one, and a Bluebeard. Those are the two best possible ones you can do. We can trigger the effect of Bluebeard, and I believe the effect of Redbeard. Does it have to be from field? Nope, the effect of Redbeard as well. So this list will be on. If you are the generator player, yeah, this is the last opportunity you have to fire Utgarda, and the Plunder player has at least one more draw coming their way. Alright, we're going to activate the effect of Liss here. Liss is different than the other Plunder Patrol ships. It does not need to have a Plunder Patrol equipped to it for this to be a quick effect, because monster effect negation, as a slow effect, usually doesn't do anything. It just prevents the add. It looks like going to be chained to that, however, is Generator Boss Room, which of course will change the effect of Plunder Patrol ship Liss to both players draw a card. That's going to be met with a set card and a pass back to the opponent. Dr. Kilometer, yes, a disconnect is a game loss on the player that disconnected. You are not obligated to remake that game. Chat, the Cardian player, I think they have the same record. We're walking into the set card here. There are a couple of things it could be that would be problematic for the Generator player. Silent Angler is not one of them. So, this is quite bad. I mean, if there's still generators remaining in deck, which I think there likely are, then there's almost no way you can get out of this. Will stage trigger. Yep. Stage is triggering. Anything will be fine here. Even something as simple as a Mardell. Yep, and there's the Mardell. This is an odd position. Generator finds itself here a lot of the time, right? Like, this looks like a really fantastic board state, but if the Plunder Patrol player is able to... the Plunder Patrol deck, remember, is blind second. So if the Plunder Patrol player is able to bait the Har activation by activating one of their cards, and then fire something like an Evenly Matched, something like a Lightning Storm, they still might be in the game. And it unfortunately it looks like they are not. The Plunder Patrol player unfortunately could not beat that turn 1 setup. I mean, Har plus backup is so brutal, especially with the copy of Boss Room. It looked like they had it, but Boss Room is such a house. Some people have cut this card entirely because it's so absolutely bricky, but it's such a fantastic add-off quest. If you're on a high amount of big boys, I really can't imagine dropping the card. The good news is the Plunder Patrol player will be able to go first for Game 2, and Generator does not play through interaction particularly well. Alright, what did you all want to know? If there were any Eldritch decks still in contention? Alright, let me see. So there were 3 Eldritch players. One of them is... Oh, I haven't refreshed this for round 4. I was like, one of them's 1-1. No, they're not. One of them is 2-1. Who's this guy? Oh, this is a terrible build. Oh, one of them dropped. And one of them is XO? Really? Oh my god. So there's an undefeated and a 2-1 still in contention. All right, and we have made it into game number 2. So unsurprisingly, the Plunder Patrol player electing to go first here. Can't beat the turn 1 setup. Gonna go ahead and activate Bluebeard's effect in Graveyard, probably, as triggering the Almirage has happened, as well as the Parallel Exceed in hand. I can't imagine you would not be doing that. Parallel Exceed is just a godsend for this deck. It allows you to make powerful rank 4s, Rafflesias, insulate your plays. We've used our normal summon here, but there's a lot of other ways Plunder Patrol can get stuff onto the field. Awesome Sauce 35 asking about ruling questions. Depends on the order in which those cards were activated. Seeing an uh-oh. Ooh, and a hard-made Mowerk. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, and that's going to be the end of the turn. That is not a promising setup. But for people who are unfamiliar, Plunder Patrol does have a little bit of trouble making coherent turn 1 boards. That's why they so often are a blind second deck. This is an okay card. It's not able to use the Banish effect, but it is still Dingirsu. And it looks like the Generator player is confident that set 3 pass will get them there. Okay, a summon limit's fine. And a boss fight shortly afterwards. That's a little less fine. Met with an Ash Blossom. Is there a boss room set? Let's find out. There is not. So the summon limit will stick, the boss fight will not. Normal summoning any Plunder monster and then Link summoning the Link is an extremely powerful play and likely wins you the game. Let's see if they've got one. Oh, Whitebeard is a pretty good one, yeah. It's a little unfortunate. Whitebeard's at its best when it's able to summon additional plunders, but not too big of a deal that it won't be able to. All right, those are your 2 summons. Blackbeard to the field. And then we'll just go to the battle phase and attack for 16. So we've got a monster that allows you to pop off on your opponent's turn. We've got a Dingirsu to protect it. I feel pretty good about this if I'm in the Plunder player's situation. Like, this is one of those decks that... Plunder Patrol is one of those decks that, despite the fact that its boards look super unassuming, super innocuous, they're extremely powerful. They're very hard to get rid of. They're sticky as all hell. It's kind of like Orcust in that regard, and I think the comparison is very well warranted when Mowerk is pretty much exactly the same card as Dingirsu. All right, and a quick surrender out of the Generator player as well. We are going to a Game 3 very quickly between Plunder Patrol and Generator. I'm shocked to see both of these decks performing at this level of competition when neither of them have really had a competent answer to their opponent's turn 1 play. Now, the hidden passive of Plunder Patrol, of course, is if you win the game with the Plunder Patrol deck, then you are able to steal the most powerful and expensive card out of your opponent's deck. You have to play for ante, yeah. It's like Orchist, except you need to draw plunder names instead of any two monsters with different names. What do you mean? Orchist can't do that anymore. How is that fair? Do you think pirates would play fair? By the way, do appreciate that these critters are unabashedly pirates. Very frustrated that Fur Hire was in fact not pirates but mercenaries. These are pirates, and I'm very happy that they're not being ambiguous about it. Alright, no normal summon, but a generator boss stage, still very powerful. Did Lil Pip draw spell and trap removal? It is game 3. I'm likely they boarded into 15 different Cosmic Cyclones. There's one of them. Is there a boss room? There is not. Or a boss fight, rather. Boss stage, boss territory. Boss room, yeah, that's it. No, they're Vikings. One is a Viking. The rest are pirates. And Vikings were also pirates. Don't get it wrong. It's a Venn diagram. Uh-oh. So that's not good. That's quite bad, in fact. Yikes. Oh, that's a really, really bad normal summon. One bad part about Plunder Patrol in particular is that the archetype is new. It's only got 12 monsters. A lot of them are really, really bad. You have to play them, because you have to play all of them, because if you don't, you will not have enough names to consistently make your plays. But only 12 monsters, and Shipyard means that very often you just don't find them. This is just about as powerful as follow-ups get. Gears through the Orcus Mekhanite going to activate here, summoning a token to both player sides of the field and sending the hand to the graveyard. So they are on the big generator combo. Alright, here comes Link Haribo. And here comes Lib, the World Key Counter-Revolutionary. She's going to go ahead and fetch a copy of World Legacy Secrets from deck. And then we're going to find World Legacy Succession. Sorry, Secret Succession. Same card to me. To bring back Zahando! And then the hand will activate, adding a copy of Monstrosity to the grip. Chat, this is round 4. Alright, Monstrosity is a fantastic pickup because the next step is to make Lingcross. Lingcross can tuck away that token. It's a weird scenario. Oftentimes on the play, you don't want to be tucking away the token because it turns off infinite impermanence, but tucking away the token means your Har rips a card out of the hand, pluses and minuses to each. Arr, SpongeBob, me boy, I've blown all me money on a playset of Starfoil Lightning Storm, but I cannot use them. Just a fantastic Mr. Krabs. Next, we'll activate the effect of Link Haribo in Graveyard in order to tribute one of these tokens. Can't be used for Link summoning, but can be used to tribute for the effect of Link monsters. Funny how that works. And then from this position, all of these cards have different names, so we can banish a couple of them in order to go into Purple Trish. And there's Purple Trish. And hilariously, World Legacy Monstrosity can target Purple Trish, who is a water and a dragon, and therefore can summon any old generator you want. Har and Mardell are the picks. Mardell gets stage here, unless you already have access to it. If you are stuck on Goongas in hand, you can go ahead and get a quest. Looks like that is the case. That makes that first turn not particularly surprising. We'll fire off the quest here. Goodbye to Hala, and we'll add stage and room, I expect. Stage and fight. Did we already have room? We just didn't activate it? From here, we'll overlay the Trish and the Mardell for a copy of Jormungandr. And then when Jormungandr's effect fires, it will trigger the effect of stage, which will not only trigger the effect of Har, it will also summon a remaining generator from deck. And hey, 2 9s. Can you think of any good monsters that are 2 9s? Now, I don't think this is actually the end of the game. Duncor saying most generator lists don't even run room. Fight is better in most circumstances. We've actually seen room in this list specifically, this set. Dovelgus, the generator that sucks the most. You know, no disrespect to the big old Dovel boy, but it's not very good. And from here we can make, I don't know, VFD, Earth Slicer, 9 Lives Cat, Dyson Sphere. What's the worst rank 9 we could make, chat? The most miserable rank 9 in the game. Calamities, you are going to get to attack. Giant Killer, that's it. Yep. Alright, Jormungandr gets in a cool 3,000, neglecting to do enough to put him to a K, but this is... I mean, you're just going to have to get through so much here. Heart Earth Dragon. Ooh, that's a good one. Alright, stage is going to trigger in draw phase. We're going to go ahead and get a Har from deck. We will summon 3 tokens to our side of the field. We have a Negate. We have access to VFD. We have a Jormungandr. I mean, it's just so much. Going for the Jormungandr now, I'm going to trigger Har as early as possible. I actually don't like this. Plunder specifically wants cards like Golden Hair into the graveyard. And you're giving them more shots at drawing their outs. Setting their last remaining card on their side of the field. What do you think that telegraphs? Wow, if they can bait the Har, they might be in for it. They knew they were going second. Oh, wow. The way Har interacts with... Alright, Shipyard coming down. That's gotta fiend the Har negation. Nope, it's not. They're too afraid of evenly matched to let anything else resolve. We're going for the Shipyard here. Discarding Booty to get a Whitebeard. That's going to trigger the Har to send. We're going to send the Whitebeard. Set 1, set 2, and end turn. Okay, so not exactly the most powerful play in the universe. What would do it from this position? Double Drowning Mirror Force, maybe? We're going to activate Booty in draw step while Har is kind of off. Targeting Jormungandr. Wow, that back row is just supremely frightening. Alright, that fiends the True King. If you can survive this turn as the Plunder player, you can very much win. It's just surviving this turn does not seem very likely. Okay, so at resolution of all of this, so we've got a Water Jormungandr and a Whitebeard. Now, Whitebeard does have the Redbeard effect. Another draw off the Jormungandr. I just don't like this. Alright, Lopter coming down. This is the trigger off of the Jormungandr. Oh, wow. And a second set monstrosity, or awakens. Well, that explains what all the back row was. From here we can go into Mardell, we can go into Hala, we can go into Utgarda. We actually can't go into Hala, but Utgarda and Mardell for sure. There's Utgarda. There's Mardell. Mardell's gonna fire, and it would have to be something absolutely miraculous to win this one. I think pretty unlikely. Infinitrack Earth Slicer the get. Okay. Firing off Earth Slicer will destroy the remaining cards in the Plunder Patrol player's field. I think likely the Unknown Set and the Whitebeard. And then it is a simple hop, skip, and jump to lethal. The set card is another booty. It is a hard once per turn. Well, Pip says, Yar, seems like the gamers have it. Oh, wow. And gender lives another day. Could not vanquish it no matter how hard these Vikings tried. Well, unfortunately, too much booty and not enough plunder. And that's the motto by which I've lived my life as well. There's triple booty in the opener. Jesus Christ. The last card in hand, Dark Ruler, just one turn too late. Summon limit the set, just showing off all these. And a 5,000 attack Jormungandr will seal it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a little disappointed, to be honest. I had high hopes for Plunder, but unfortunately they were dashed against the cold rocks of reality. For this next round, we've got two players that are actually good at Yu-Gi-Oh! I know, I tried my hardest. There are two undefeated matches going on right now. I'll pull them up real quick. Mount Fuji versus Low Tier Geo. That's going to be Generator versus Dragon Maid. And as crazy as that match is going to be, I want to feature two people who have not yet been on camera. Cyber VX, a.k.a. Jason Leonard. Incredibly good duelist. Tons of tops at all levels of competition under his belt. On Dinosaur, he was schlonging people in the PPG event. He's returned to schlong further. Up against Sparky on Altergeist. We all know Altergeist is a very powerful deck. Had a huge representation at the PPG event yesterday. Unfortunately, despite three people bringing it for today's event, only one of them still remains in contention, and it's Sparky. You know, 3 Altergeist Multifaker is nothing to sniff at, so we are going to see if they can prove to us what is the best possible deck in the new meta. So I will let them know I am in, and they can get started, and then we can start watching. All right. So, I alluded to this in the Farfa debate stream, but Dinosaur more closely resembles a combo deck these days than it does an Unga Bunga OTK blind second list. Jason's deck, provided it's the same one that he was playing yesterday in the Pro Play Games event, Whoa, that's a weird open. Yes, summons Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, yes, blows through boards, but also sets up 2-mat Dolka, which is honestly functionally identical to Appaloosa, occasionally Trish, VFD, and most importantly, the newest addition to the deck, Reproducus combos into Simorg, Divine Bird of Divinity, the Link, which summons at the end of the turn Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds, floodgating summons. Now that's battle protection as well for your Winged Beast monsters, targeting protection, and the ability to flip your opponent's monsters face down as they attempt to attack your special summon Floodgate. So an incredibly powerful board building deck with huge OTK potential. The unfortunate side is that none of the lines are linear. So each one requires different navigation based on the matchup. Unfortunately, I don't think any of the good ones start with set 3 pass. Alright, so Pot of Duality, the lead for the Altergeist player. What do they find off the top? But some really, really good cards. We're going to learn a lot based off what they get here. Evenly Matched is a pretty good decision. CyberVX says, I'm playing Geist 2. Oh, no! Oh, no. Did Jason change his deck at the last minute? Oh, gosh. Wait, no, he didn't. What? Oh, he's memeing his opponent. I see. So here comes the Evenly Matched. It's joke. Such a powerful joke that I wasn't even prepared for it. Alright, we're going to leave one set card. That's got to be something extremely powerful. I think pretty clearly that set card was maybe one of the babies trying not to get OTK'd. I can't imagine why else you would set against Altergeist in particular. Marionetta, the summon for turn, and of course, Mario is just about the best normal summon you could hope for outside of Melusik, but without access to the battle phase, it might just be better. We're going to set up a copy of Protocol and probably between 2 and 3 additional traps. If that set card is, I don't know, Heavy Storm Duster, it could be big. Alright, and Jason is allowed to untap. What is the play? Protocol, the flip in the draw phase, and oh my god, have they drawn Faker? I guess it's less disgusting now that there's 3 copies, but sheesh. Alright, Altergeist Multi-Faker has made it onto the field. It will be special summoned. And then we'll likely special summon something like a Silquidius from deck. Wow, that's frustrating. Oh, Marionetta the get, and Sparky says in chat, wow, that was a bad misclick. Oh my gosh, that was a terrible misclick. Unless they're trying to next level their opponent. Alright, let's see a Lightning Storm. It's pretty much got to be exactly Lightning Storm, but if it is, Pankratops is strong too. Pankratops is quite good. See, the problem here is, well, the Pankratops can at minimum bait out the Protocol activation. So if they're not too concerned about using the battle phase effectively, Jason can walk over something like this Multi-Faker, fire the effect of Pankratops, targeting the Protocol, and jeez, the Conchieri activated here. Alright, what a hand. So the Conchieri is going to activate, will negate the attack, and can target the Pankratops, negating its effect. This potentially prompts the Pankratops. It looks like we are going to see that. Popping the Pankratops and targeting a card. A card that is not the Protocol as well. Now Sparky has the option to either use the Protocol here or let the targeted card go to the graveyard. It is personal spoofing. Sheesh. Well, we've already activated the effect of Multi-Faker this turn. And looks like Jason's going to concede he's seen enough. Wow, blazingly fast game 1. And I do appreciate Jason for not wasting our time and making us sit through Altergeist Passage. For what it's worth, both of these players are still undefeated, so there's a very high chance, especially if they win their next round, that even if they lose another game after this, they will be the 4-2 that sneaks into Top Cut. They've got the best breakers so far. If this match ends quickly, can we watch the Ignister game? If this match ends quickly, we will pivot to something else, don't worry. Maybe we'll do a rap along to that song you just heard. I fought a kindergartner. He was 5 years old. Slept with a sick bitch. Now I got a cold. Oh, God. All right, Pot of Extravagance firing. That's a little better. And a couple of cards off the top might smooth this out. That should be a sub-goal? Yeah, maybe. We'll fire off the Miscellaneous Source as well. That is a great way to start this. I imagine we'll see a normal summoned Overraptor afterwards, though The addition of Animadorned Archosaur into the deck means that there's just so much more this archetype can do now. We're going to fire off this copy of Miscellaneous Source to get a copy of Archosaur from deck. And then, of course, we could activate that. Ooh, that low-res picture. I should re-download images. They'll destroy a Baby Sarosaurus from their hand to get a copy of Double Evolution Pill. And what do you know? Baby Sarosaurus can trigger in Graveyard, getting an Oviraptor. Alright, from here, Oviraptor will trigger. And we are still under the Miscellaneous Source protection. And hey, that's a dinosaur. So if we want, we can start swapping. Alright, we're going to normal summon a copy of Petit Pteranodon, then we're going to fire Soul Eating Oviraptor, targeting the Petit Pteranodon to tag out for this copy of Baby Sarosaurus. The Petit Pteranodon, of course, will be able to summon from deck. And here's where you make Halqifibrax, right? So, notably, we are getting dangerously close to a couple of very particular cards. Oh no, Extrav banished my combo. Looks like we're not going to be able to see the big boy make an appearance this game. You know, ideally you want to end on your special summon Floodgate, but one part of playing Extrav is that sometimes you banish the relevant cards. Oh, maybe he has it anyway. Reproducus firing potentially targeting this Baby Sarosaurus to make it a winged beast. Double Evolution Pill also coming out, banishing the Giant Rex and the Linkuriboh to get... We could get the Speller Trap Negator here, too. No, going for the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Alright, out comes Giant Rex returning to the field, and 2/4s is fantastic for an overlay. Here comes Logia, picking that over Dolka because, of course, there's less monster effects you want to be negating in Altergeist specifically. Oh, shoot. And it looks like that's going to be the end of the turn. Ideally, this would also be a Simorg. Pot of Extravagance coming down from Jason's opponent. Do you let this resolve? I suppose so. Was that a move to battle phase? Ugh. Draws the evenly matched. Well, we made Logia for a reason. Do we have the second evenly matched? Yes, we do. Folks, it just doesn't get much better than that. I guess you probably keep the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Everything else has kind of used its effects. Yeah. The skill. Jason saying, oh, I thought you also had Faker. Whew! Sparky says, and now you see why I'm EXO. Normal summoning Marionetter afterwards is pretty good. Obviously, Faker is the best possible outcome, but normal Marionetter is pretty good too. I imagine we will be seeing a protocol. Really in the tank on this one. I don't know why you would get something like a Manifestation. They might be getting a Haunted Rock for a very hilarious combo. Alright, activating the effect of Marionetter here. Yep, Protocol it is. And then we're going to set a couple of cards and pass. So Protocol plus one trap is beatable. And despite the fact that Jason lost his entire board to an evenly matched, this is a... Whoa! Whoa! This is the board that can do it. Well, there goes the entire extra deck. And it's going to be chained with a copy of Miscellaneousaurus. Wow, that's just the best possible thing. This Miscellaneousaurus can, of course, banish the Giant Rex and combo off even further. But no extra deck whatsoever. Ultimate Conductor Tyranno or bust here. And Sparky thinking about protocoling the Miscellaneousaurus. It's a weird scenario. Protocol's a fantastic monster negate, but it doesn't really do anything after Miscellaneousaurus is active, and using it to negate Miscellaneousaurus is only good if you've got additional negation. So maybe this telegraphs a little bit what that set card is. All right, they are deep, deep in the tank as well. Looks like we're going to go for the Miscellaneousaurus for 2 here. This could get any baby. And it's going to be met with the Protocol. This is an okay place to Protocol. The Giant Rex is coming back. So a normal 4 would enable a Dolka, provided that 4 is exactly Necroface. Now, Giant Rex is a very powerful card, but hilariously can't attack directly. Fossil Dig in hand. Wow, that's strong. So from here we can get an Overraptor and I think do all of the plays that we wanted to regardless. Yeah, we could go for another Animadorn to Archosaur if we have another Pill. And even just attacking with these 2 monsters, if Jason isn't able to make lethal happen right now, it's still kind of a problem, right? Because Miscellaneousaurus specifically is just very hard for Altergeist to beat. Oh my god, he drew the other Conductor Tyranno. Alright. Forget that Archosaur combo. That's going to be met with a Solemn Strike. And now we are, what, 1,200 off lethal? The end of this game will require... It'll depend on if there's a Conchiari in hand and what's available in the deck. I think pretty clearly there isn't the availability of something. Oh, there's the Conchiari. So this is a little crusty. You can target the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and its effects are negated. Is it affected by that, though? Because of Miscellaneousaurus? I guess it is. It looks as if it is. Well, that's a pretty bad one to get negated. Oh, Misk is only main phase. How many times am I going to make this mistake? Double pot of extravagance for both players. You know, sometimes it just happens. Well, the Altergeist player now has no out to a 2,400 attack monster. So good luck to them. Alright, normal summoning a Meluseek. Just kidding, that's the out. I don't know, this is a pretty This is a pretty suspect play, in my opinion. They do get to eat the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, which is sweet. But, like, do they still have a Link Haribo in the extra? I mean, if they do, this is definitely the play, and extremely powerful. Do they have a Hexia? They did! They still have a Hexia! Oh my gosh. That's a huge problem for Jason. Well, provided that one of the two cards drawn off the extravagance was a trap, but I think that is quite likely. And looks like exactly one of them was. Alright, let's see what we got. I'm struggling to think what Jason's hand would be that he didn't have hand traps for any of that. Or extenders to OTK last turn. A third Tyranno, maybe? So we can Misk. Could Misk for 4? That's pretty good. But Misk isn't a dinosaur in the graveyard and would be negated by Protocol almost assuredly. Unsurprisingly, here's the Misk activation, but what follows next is going to be extremely important. We are attempting a Miscellaneousaurus here for 4. This is a big one. Are they going to Protocol? They're going to Ash Blossom. Whoa, that's frustrating. Normal summoning the barrier statue of the Stormwinds. Wait, this is crazy! Wait, does this win the game? It's not an activated effect. They can't summon Multi-Faker off of this. Oh my god, it's 1,000 short. They can use Hexia to get... They're getting Marionetter here. This is so funny. Ideally, you want to be summoning the barrier statue of the Stormwinds off of the, Simorgh Link, but normal summoning it is not bad either. Me dino, me no need extra deck. Apparently. Speaking of decks that don't need the extra, Marionetter activating now. We've got, what, Manifestation set? Alright, let's see the Swift Scarecrow. Let's see the Battle Fader. Let's see the Necros of Valkyrus. Unfortunately, Jason had none of those. Well, they can activate Multi-Faker on both players' turns if there's one in the graveyard, which there is not. Okay. It's maybe worth tagging out of Marionetter to go into, like, Conquieri just because it has more defense. Like, it would be very hard for Jason to get over. This is a hard one. Gonna flip the Protocol. Gonna activate Multi-Faker. I'd imagine we're getting Silk. Okay. Hilariously, Silk, by the way, can still be special summoned under Stormwind's. Stormwind's terrible. Alright, here comes the Marionetter. Going for the Hextia, maybe? Nope, the Meluseek. Can you even go for the Hextia? Looks like we're probably making another Hextia. Alright, time to top deck the third Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. I do not play, says Jason. I guess Tremendous Fire does it? No, Animadorned Archosaur is a good card. Ooh. And Cosmicking the Protocol. Returning the Protocol. In order to do what? You have to bounce, what, the Giant Rex here? That's only okay. But then the Archosaur is going to resolve. Destroying Petit Pteranodon. All right. Hold up. Okay, Petit Pteranodon tags into an Oviraptor. I guess theoretically there's some other stuff we could get as well. This is complicated by the fact there's no extra deck, but, I mean, you kind of have to put a lot of eggs into the basket of that set card not being anything relevant. Search Overtext, put Tyranno back into deck. When was the last time you ever saw Overtext's effect activated? Oh, well, apparently it's going to be right now. Let's fire off this copy of Double Evolution Pill. Have to be 7 or higher? It does. What are we, on the Big Bungus? Pankratops fulfills the condition. And this summons Giant Rex. Oh my god! Is Jason going to walk with us? This is difficult. You do have to walk over... this is really hard. So you do have to walk over this copy of Meluseek. That's going to give a multi-faker to your opponent. They have a trap they haven't activated. You know it's Manifestation. So Manifestation is 1 summon. How many more attackers do we have? 2? Manifestation is 1 summon, Meluseek is 2. Good Pankratops here, but if you do that, then the multi-faker lands. This is really hard. Getting Hextia. Hexia just because it's the largest attack monster. Gonna summon multi-faker. You might have to summon Marionetter just because otherwise you might be dead. Alright, multi-faker firing here. So 27 on a Hextia linked to multi-faker. Getting another Meluseek here. I think we're 1 off. It's unfortunate the attacks worked out this way. Because if they'd attacked with the other copy of Oviraptor, they could walk over this multi-faker, right? Wow, and then a pass back to their opponent. Honestly, this extremely large Giant Rex might be enough. Oh no, the Cardian player drops with a 1-4 record. I think the 1 was the bye. 1 OV couldn't attack because, oh, Petit Pteranodon has text on it? Shocking. This is rough. I guess you probably pop it. Jason throwing caution to the winds. He says, I don't know, I'm more happy with your monster in attack position. Either have another Link Haribo or you're dead. And getting over the Animador and Archosaur as well. And they do. Hextia, Link Haribo in the last three. You know, that's funny. But that said, what's the play here? Did they draw another chainable trap? Because if not, this is very much lethal. I mean, it might be lethal anyway. They're popping the... Oh, this is so weird. They're popping the manifestation in order to bring back Silquidius. This triggers the Hextia. I think you can get an Altergeist card? Yeah. They should have one protocol in hand from the Silquidius last turn. They might Mario... Yeah, they might be Marioing just to get something in defense position. No, they're not. Lost World! What an insane rip! Oh, what a crazy rip! Lost World is a crazy rip because it puts it means that every monster that Sparky summons for the remainder of the game has to just kind of sit in defense mode or they will lose. It also just permanently turns off Meluseek. Alright, Protocol activation. Silquidius here, what? Bouncing Lost World? Bouncing an Oviraptor. That is kind of cool, I suppose. But they're about to get a rude awakening about what Lost World enables. Alright. Oh, it is time to activate the effect of Lost World and the effect of Oviraptor in a way that blocks Oviraptor from being protocoled. Oh, Baby Ceratosaurus in the hand. That's okay. I think they're almost out of targets. There should be a Baby Ceratosaurus remaining in graveyard. Yeah, Jason is running on fumes this game as well. Down to just about nothing good left in deck. The utility of his monsters is rapidly diminishing. Looks like he can very easily get his opponent down to 100 life points. But I don't know how he's going to do the other 100. Oh, this is terrible. And giving his opponent the token means that they can resummon a Link Haribo. Wow, that is miserable. And while that first effective Link Haribo is once per turn, that second is not. Yeah, this looks like lights out for Jason. All his opponent has to do is silk anything relevant. I mean, there's just they're out of like ways to close out the game quickly in the extra deck, but they still do have plays. I don't know. The rough part of this is managing this board state is going to suck. All right, by bouncing the Lost World, we can normal summon this Meluseek and it'll actually do something again. Activating Marionetter here. Tributing itself to get a copy of Meluseek from Graveyard. We can go in a couple of times here. 3-card set. Oh, wow, this looks so promising for Jason, but unfortunately, an early extravagance banishing the combo pieces that would have kept Altergeist out of the game permanently. Back-to-back evenly matched on turn 1. I mean, his opponent drew exceptionally well and played through just about everything under the sun to the best of their ability. And I believe if they win this, this Altergeist player is a lock for top cut. All right, let's see Raigeki. Let's see Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm wouldn't even be that good. We know there's a Manifestation set. You can just loop Manifestation forever with Altergeist Silquidius. And, yeah, Jason saying good match. I think that is going to be it. A surrender out of Jason and a 2-0 for our Altergeist pilot. Wow. That was a clinic. That was an incredibly powerful showing from Altergeist. And, of course, a series of very good draws, but of course backed up with very good play as well. It's round 6. It's the last round of Swiss. Folks, you know what that means. We only have a very short amount of time until we know what the top 8 decks of the 6 Yu-Gi-Oh! Quarantine series are going to be. I do have 2 locks for you, 2 individuals who, despite the outcome of this round, will be making it into top cut. They are, and it pains me to say this, the Altergeist pilot you just watched. The Altergeist pilot you just watched. You all remember that game from seconds ago. And based lowly on Dragon Maid. Dragon Maid is undefeated after 5 rounds of Swiss. I don't know how this happened. I have literally no idea. But he's won every game, and as a result, will be in top cut, and likely what we are going to be watching in top 8. I want to bring you a bubble round for this match, though, because I think it's more fun to see players where there's actually something on the line. So we're going to be watching Meds for Feds, the top remaining Unchained player, playing against Tommy, who is X1 on Salamangreat. Now, both of these players have a very high chance of topping if they win this game. Even if they don't, their breakers might be good enough, but I am going to let them know I am prepared whenever. CJ Alex hacked Edo Pro and is using it to stack Lowly's deck. We will see. Now, I don't know much about Unchained, but I would wager that Salamangreat is probably its best matchup. So let's head there now. We are finally Dragon Maids, full mix. And I do want to point out, for people who keep referencing CJ Alex, based Lowly's Dragon Maid deck, fundamentally different than CJ Alex's. CJ Alex was playing, like, bad Rocket Link. Based Lowly is just playing, like, straight-up Dragon Maid. Like, 35 Dragon Maid cards, generic staples. Like, 12 hand traps, Infip, Solemns, Dragon Maids. And will, like, invest as few cards as possible into making the fusion, and then pass. It's been insane. If Based Lowly gets out of this undefeated, we'll just call the tournament now. It'll just be over. All right, so the Salamangreat player going first, I think ideal for both players. The Unchained player wants links on the field, and the Salamangreat player wants to make their Salamangreat plays. Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, a card that has largely fallen out of favor based on the top meta decks. It's just only okay, but really, really good in Unchained. Unchained has a severe problem with their Garnets, the Unchained Soul of Dogshit. And as a result, this card helps smooth out hands that are otherwise just awful. Sparky, I am not necessarily rooting against you, but you're playing Altergeist and your opponent is playing Dragon Maid. I mean, I don't know what you want me to do. Alright, we have made it to Salamangreat, Sunlight Wolf, Jack Jaguar being activated now. We're going to return that copy of Balinx to the extra deck, and Jack Jaguar to a link point. That'll trigger the effect of Salamangreat, Sunlight Wolf, and put this Gazelle back into the hand. Have you seen this play before? This play is so good! Alright, yada yada yada. We all know what Salamangreat does. You know, it's surprising no one at this point. Pot of Desire's fine. What I want to know is what is Unchained going to do. That's what I'm interested in. Now, unfortunately, Fantastical Dragon Phantasme doesn't interact very well with the Salamangreat traps, right? So it can negate the effects of cards that target cards you control. But Salamangreat Roar, of course, is just Judgment, and Salamangreat Rage can target cards your opponent controls, but more often targets cards that you control, and then pops monsters your opponent controls in a non-targeting mechanism afterwards. Mambo asking what decks have been doing well. It's really hard to say. The field looks absolutely wide open. I think it is likely we're going to see 1 to 2 Salamangreats in Top Cut. I think it is likely we're going to see 1 to 2 Generator in Top Cut. Plunder has a shot at Top Cut. Unchained has a shot at Top Cut. Eldritch has a shot at Top Cut. Altergeist, there is one that is a lock. And I think there is an Eldritch player who could get in still. Other than that, I don't know. Alright, Parallel Exceed. That's pretty good. At the very least, they'll also be able to back this up with a rank 4. Baguska is a good one, but an Unchained monster into a Link summon is probably enough? Alright, the first result for round 5 is a win because their opponent didn't show up. Fantastic. Alright. Time to banish all 3 copies of the Link 2. Pot of Extravagance coming down, and being met with an Ash Blossom, no big deal whatsoever. Mech Musket and Striker both potentially could get in as well. Ishasama, I wouldn't say anything yet. You know, it is still very possible that Salamangreat is the best deck here. It looks like we're going to set 2 and pass turn. Ugh. As good as Unchained are, really suck against Baguska in particular. Alright, so Transcode Talker's effect is once per turn. It's going to bring back one of these bad boys. Yeah, wow, and Parallel Exceed really doing a lot of work here. Looks like we're going to activate Escape from the Unchained on Transcode Talker and on Unchained Twin Sarama. That's an unbelievable plus for the Unchained player. Not only is this a mechanism by which you can get the Transcode Talker off field, very hard to do later in the game, it also negates its effect as it needs to be summoned to a link point, and it's one of the few monsters in the deck that can't be protected by the Balinx in the graveyard. So we're going to go into an Arua from this position. And Will the Salamangreat is going to be activated once again. They're going to bring back a copy of Sunlight Wolf. And I'd imagine this turn is just going to be a long road to Access Code Talker. Normaling Jack Jaguar here, it is switched to defense by the continuous effect of Baguska. And Heat Leo, the summon. I don't know if I like this one. Heat Leo... Oh no, because there's still Baguska on the field. Okay, so we'll see if that's chained in response. There's a lot of stuff that would be very problematic for the Salad player, but there's also a lot of conditional activated cards in Unchained. So I could see it both being shuffled back and being chained. All right, so I imagine next we're going to see access code talker. Maybe. No, maybe not. Maybe we'll just walk over these guys. No, there he is. Okay, so access code talker here can target this copy of Heat Leo in the graveyard. That's going to give it 5,300 attack, just under lethal, but the Gazelle will do the rest of the work for it. I don't actually know if this is going to do what they want. So there's two in the graveyard. There is a Transcode Talker and a Heat Leo. That's fire and earth. They can pop two things. That would be the Phantasme and the Arua. Despite the fact that this targets, you can't negate it because you would have to be able to respond. The Arua, when it's popped, will be able to get a Rika, and I don't think they have a way to spin the Rika, so the Rika could slowly go into something like a dog. If you can do this in a way that the access code talker's attack isn't preserved by the time you get to dog, you can very easily win. Ooh, an Abominable Unchained Soul comes down. Oh, could have waited on the Bagooska, too. Discarding the evenly matched to destroy this copy of Access Code Talker. And suddenly the Salamangreat player is in a disaster of a situation. I mean, this will has already been used this turn. All the Unchained player has to find is an out to will. They can clean up this board for free. This Gazelle has to turn into a Balinx, or else they're going to be able to plus off of the Arua on their own turn. Wow, that's something. Abominable Unchained Soul is such a weird card, because you read it and it's like, oh, it's a terrible Pankratops? I guess that's alright. And then you see it in action and you're like, this card doesn't seem broken, but it did just win my opponent the game. So, and as expected, there's the Balinx, just not willing to end on a 1,500 attack monster versus Arua. Understandable, but they can just crash it into Bagooska if they like. Alright, so how are we going to do this? Depends on what the draw is, of course. I do like just switching Arua to attack position. We can go to battle phase here. Sarama is nuts. We've got an Escape from the Unchained that hasn't activated its effect in forever. Yeah, this is so rough. And a lot of the things that Salamangreat uses to remain in the game, this Transcode Talker, this Access Code Talker, they're in the graveyard. They've been exhausted. Heat Leo's banished, you know? Like, there's not a lot they have left outside of their bread and butter plays. Alright, so it looks like we're going to try and walk over the Balinx to begin with. And they're activating the effect of Salamangreat Sanctuary, a classic. Banishing the Balinx here, and then, of course, we will use the effect of Arua after walking into a Bagooska. That attack position, Bagooska just looking like a piece of garbage. Alright, from here we can go into Sarama. No, we're going into another Abominable Unchained Soul. Going to activate its effect to do what exactly? Pop the will. Well, you got to get rid of the will somehow. And walk over the remaining Balinx and says, listen, I feel comfortable enough with the cards on my side of the field. These two are going to do it. Best of luck. Tamamo says, this is why you use cherries for the Link 2 dog. The Link 2 dog hasn't shown up. Wow, that's the best draw on the deck. That is the best draw on the deck, and it still might not be enough. There's no way to get Gazelle to hand because, of course, it's limited. You can... Do you even have a Balinx remaining? There's one in the graveyard, one in the banished. You probably have one Balinx remaining. So you can normal summon this copy of Lady Debug. You can use Lady Debug's effect and then go grab yourself... Foxy's fine, but you'll have to discard it later on down the line. We're going to have to go into a Balinx. We can bring back Jack Jaguar. Is there a Reincarnation Wolf play available? There are all three Wolves still remaining in the extra. So they can go like... Oh, this is so hard. Yeah, I do think Takai-kun is probably right. Sarama was better than Abominable. You're just pushing for damage with Abominable. Sarama gets you interaction on your opponent's turn, which is infinitely more important. So now we can what? We can activate Jaguar, go into Wolf twice. Have anything to reset? We don't. I guess we could... Oh, we can reset Will and pop off that way. Oh, if there's a Boral Sword in that extra, that might actually be the end of the game. So there's Jack Jaguar. There's Sunlight Wolf. I'm going to go into another one. We'll activate the effect of Sunlight Wolf. Sunlight Wolf here can... Oh, we don't even have to. We can use the Salman Great Foxy to proc the Sunlight Wolf for a Gazelle. We have performed our normal summon, but getting the Gazelle out of the hand is trivial. I mean, this is... Okay, listen. It's bad, obviously. It's miserable for the Unchained player. But it's also possible that there's nothing left in the extra. Like, we know the extra. They're all known quantities. It's 1 Sunlight Wolf, 2 Baylynx, right? 1 Sunlight Wolf, 1 Baylynx, 1 Heat Leo. That's 3. So there's 4 unknowns. It's probably Update Jammer as one of them. And then what? Like a rank 4 for Exceed, potentially? Whoa, that's good. Wow. Yeah, and that's going to be it. That's all they can do with what they have. Sarama's fine. I guess from this position we go into Doggy. Oh, I think we are getting... Oh, I think we're getting some information here. There's no way. Is it possible that they banished all 3 of the Link 2? Regardless, the Link 3 probably will end the game as well. Unchained Soul of Anguish getting rid of the Baguska, and hilariously does not have to link. Does not have to link into an Unchained monster. We can just go to Access Code Talker, attack over the Sunlight Wolf, not even using the effect, 0 respect whatsoever. Looks like they're going to go ahead and use the effect of Sanctuary here to gain 18, but they are still taking 53. And, there we go. It is time for Game 2. Unchained is 1 game away from walking into Top Cut. Never, ever, ever punished. Ishasama says the Link 2 only works on your opponent's turn. Yeah, I'm aware. I wasn't under the impression that you could go into Access Code Talker and win the game this turn. I thought we still had Yu-Gi-Oh! To play. Apparently I was wrong. Alright, let's start entering in these final rounds. Looks like our Mystic Mine appropriate Exodia player did pick up their last round because their opponent dropped. Same with Arcturus, who picked up because their opponent dropped. Unfortunate, but the Weather Painters did not pull through in the end. Tortov, who I think is still in contention, but not sure. Just beat Zoroark 28. Let's see what Tortov is playing. They're on, oh my god, Ballpark! Oh, I hope they made Top Cut. Alright, we're gonna go for, Salman Great Gazelle here. Going to send a copy of Jack Jaguar. Chad asks if there's any Medolce players in the tournament. There were 2. I don't think any of them converted. We're going for Fantastical Dragon Phantasme here. Wow, glued to the hand. Okay, Pot of Desires is good, but at this stage in the combo is a little risky. You've got a lot of stuff you don't want banishing. So it shows a little bit of desperation out of the Salamangreat player, which bodes extremely well for the Unchained player. I would consider allowing your opponent to go first if I was Salamangreat. Like, Salamangreat has no problem boarding into a ton of hand traps and punishing your opponent for overextending. And if Unchained wants to get anything done, they have to overextend. Alright, so we're going to recycle the Gazelle here. And here comes Baylynx. Into another Sunlight Wolf, not even committing to the Sanctuary on board. Setting 2 cards. Ooh, that's a pretty sweet setup. So we've got the Baylynx in graveyard. We've got 2 cards set. That's a sweet start. Abomination's Prison adds an Unchained from your deck to your hand. Usually fetches the Ash if your opponent has it. Ooh, and we are getting the set card Destroyer. All right, we're going to normal summon a copy of Unchained Twins Rika. Rika is so strong. And what's unfortunate is a lot of the cards that Salamangreat has that interact with your opponent, the ones that destroy cards they control, for instance, are just terrible in this matchup, just miserable. You have to use them on exclusively known quantities. All right, we're going to fire off this copy of Escape from the Unchained. That will summon an Unchained from deck, and oh, big surprise, it's Sarama. Sarama is just a godsend for this deck. Wow, and Jason Leonard has schlonged his way into top cut Dinosaur in top 8. That is exciting. Oh, and Dunkoro, our generator pilot, has unfortunately dropped. Alright, Summon Limit has made its way onto the field, and now we're just doing Summon Limit stuff. Dunkoro says, I can still make top 8 Baby Rage. Well, best of luck to you. So this is kind of unfortunate. Looks like Sarama's still going to trigger. Escape is still a good card. So it's worth getting. I wonder what they'll be destroying here. Yeah, the Phantasme. Fine. Alright, so let's see if this time Salamangreat can OTK. You are going to have to do it through Summon Limit, so it's going to be difficult. But most of them start with Gazelle. Sending a Rage here. Rage gets a lot better when you can artificially prevent your opponent from activating your Unchained monster's effects. And it looks like that's going to be the end of the turn. or the end of the setup phase of the turn, rather. We'll walk into this copy of Sarama. Sarama's effect will get to trigger, which I imagine Meds for Feds is extremely happy about. Is it time? Is it time? No, it is not time at all. Salaman Great Roar, the set card. No justice in this world. Well, at minimum, Raikou will trigger. Looks like Escape of the Unchained, the activation here. I think we probably could have waited on that just a little bit. Then we'll be able to trigger Raikou's effect. I do kind of like this. Oh, that is a very suspect place to be putting that. This keeps your opponent off of, ooh, that's funny. This keeps your opponent off of necessarily access code talker. Looks like they're going to go ahead and put one of the Sunlight Wolves back. And go into a Balinx. I mean, this isn't the worst position to be in if you're the Unchained player. You have to contend with just Rage. That's only okay. All right, Chibi Gohan won a game. Fantastic stuff. Gladiator Beast coming in hot. So this is fine. It's... Here comes the Rage. Going for the Abominable Unchained Soul, surprising no one. The relevant hit. There it goes. So we can special summon back the Abominable Unchained Soul at end phase, right? The problem is, do we use its effect to destroy the summon limit? Probably not, right? Yeah, and now the Unchained player is just playing under their opponent's summon limit. Says, yeah, fine, 2? I can do 2. Ooh. These better be 4 really good cards, my guy. Wow, I mean, I hesitate to think, like, what must your hand be that is the correct play? Alright, nice Balinx. Those are your 2 summons. Rage comes back. That's fine. Oh, wow, setting 3 here. Yeah, Trickstar Reincarnation would be lethal here. I mean, we got to get into the red zone, right? So finally, we're going to actually activate Wailing of the Unchained Souls. Are we prepping for a Link summon? Oh, we are. Out comes Unchained Soul of Rage. That's going to proc the effect of Wailing. And any of these hits are nice. Going for the not Rage. It's Infip on the Unchained Soul of Rage. Wow, that is just a terrible, terrible card to be negating, because it basically does nothing on this turn. The set card in the zone is potentially a piece of utility you would prefer to have. but I don't think it's too big of a deal. I think the biggest problem for the Salamangreat player is I don't know if they have access to, like, something that will out their own Floodgate. Like, do they have a Foxy remaining? There's none in the grave. They can go for a 2 here, but... yeah, I don't know. Called by the Grave. Oh, what an amazing hit. Gonna get that copy of Jack Jaguar as it attempts to activate. And of course, Unchained Soul of Rage is so absolutely threatening. It's just horrifying. Like, it's effectively turning off the rage. It's like, do you want to fire rage? Well, you'd better, like, you are going to have to wait until I activate the effect of Unchained Soul's attack, or the effect of Unchained Soul, and if you just sit on it, I will walk over your Link monster and it will turn off. That's not to mention, of course, that Rage does float. It doesn't float perfectly, but it does still float. This is game 2, Unchained 1, game 1. And Cocoa Bird wins 2-0. I believe that puts Cocoa Bird in top 8 with Salamangreat. Let me check. Nope, I'm wrong. God, I have no idea what the top players are playing. Alright, so it looks like we are going for Falco here. That's okay. Yeah, Chad, I am having to agree with you. I mean, I can't tell if the Unchained player is playing well, or if this is just a windmill slam of a matchup. And this game seems to have been decided by their own copy of Summon Limit. Taking the Balinks off the field so that you can't Unchain Soul. That's kind of 5-head, but, like, you are under a very fast clock here. And without the ability to out your own copy of a Summon Limit, what are you doing? Chat saying Foxy can out Summon Limit. I don't think there's any access to Foxy remaining. They've activated 2 Desires. We've seen 0 Foxy enter rotation. There have been opportunities to normal summon a Foxy, but they took them to normal summon like a Lady Debug instead. Are you kidding me? Based Lowly went on a 6-0 run with Dragon Maid? Jesus Christ. How? What did he do? It's going to be real depressing when he just drops in top 8. Tournament's over, folks. Yeah, we're cutting it after Swiss. He literally played through Evenly Faker. Crazy. Oh, Evan Carr says it's their only loss. Did Evan Carr top 2? On Salad? Well, well, well. A lot of Salad on the bubble. Alright, so going for the effect of Unchained Soul of Rage here. That prompts the other Rage, Rage into Rage, Kek W. And then from this position we can add back Sarama, of course. Dunkoro 9th again. Oh, there's still people to finish. You'll be much worse than 9th. Alright, Chamber of the Unchained, the activation at end step here. Is the dog making an appearance? No, it's the dog returning. Yeah, I think the Salamangreat player, even if they turn this around, I have no idea how they're doing 8,000 points of damage under their own summon limit. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Anguish going to pop the last remaining unknown set card, I think pretty clearly as an infip. Yep, there it is. That infip is going to do literally nothing at this stage in the game. We get to attack directly, but the attacks don't matter. What matters is there's 2 cards left in deck. The Unchained player just has this wrapped up on every single front. I pass back to the opponent. Now, of course, this Unchained Link monster cannot activate its effect on its opponent's turn. It would have to be like... No, I can't even... I'm like, you could normal Foxy, and then link to Balinx, and then Reborn Foxy, but that's 3 summons. Normal Ash Blossom. Oh my. Well, that is a way to make access code. And with 1 card in deck... Looks like our Salaman Great Friend is going to fall to Access Kodatoka. His opponent's summon limit doing most of the work this match. A Veiler on the Access Code Talker, just a little bit too late. Although, you know, even if it was activated, I can't imagine. I hesitate to imagine what would have gotten out. And that is going to be the end of the game, despite the fact that Chad is spamming Deckham. They were able to win with damage. Ironic. They boarded in Summon Limit to end the game. And Summon Limit did end the game.